What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. Give you guys my predictions, my hopes, my dreams. We are just a day away. I'm actually recording this a day earlier, but we're still technically a day away from, hopefully, a legendary event where we'll get the date, we'll get the price, we'll get launch games, we'll get first party, third party. I just want to, again, go over some, whether it's predictions or just some hopes that I have for this entire thing. So, let's just start with the actual console. That's kind of an important part when you're revealing it. So, two parts to it, right? Release date and then price. I'm going to go along with the group, the popular kids at school, be a follower. June very much feels like when it's going to happen, right? May is probably too soon. Obviously, we're in April now, and, they're showing it off a little bit earlier in April, but to give only about a month and a half, I feel like it's going to be mid-June, though, so let's kind of give you guys a little bit of a range. I'm probably thinking if you're literally going into middle of June, I'm thinking somewhere that's 16th through 20th, okay? Right before Death Stranding 2, get it out early, get it out in that safety zone. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to dominate, okay? But no, I think middle of June seems to be right, and I'm going to say $399.99. That's US dollars, right? So I'll say $400. This is something that I feel like, look, I want the Switch 2. I want it really bad. You give me Mario Kart 9, which I also predict very obviously will be at the show tomorrow. I'm going to do my best to get the Switch 2 kind of no matter what. You gotta price it appropriately. And I know things with, shipping the consoles and all this other jazz, even politically that's going on. I can't see you doing the Switch 2 for any more than, say, $450, right? I feel like $450 is just the absolute max because, it's gonna be a semi-powerful console, but what are you comparing it to, right? You look at the Series X, you look at the PS5, PS5 Pro, it's not gonna be as powerful as that. That doesn't mean it's worse. Like power and how good it is are not the same thing. However, when you're pricing it, right, you're pricing it based off of the gadgets and the doodads, right, all that kind of stuff. So if you're going to do $500 and the thing runs at like a PS4, Xbox One level, I don't know. And you're also going towards a different demographic. Let's be real. A lot of people that have the Switch 1 have it for a specific reason. Actually, there's a couple of reasons, but the price, I do think, really, really helps them. So that's my defense. That's my defense of it being $400. You honestly could argue, Alex, 400's too high. It needs to be 300 to 350. I can't see it being 300. So if you want to say 350 to 450 to be as safe as possible, that is probably the range. I'll go right down the middle, right? I'll say 400. Now, I mentioned Mario Kart. I kind of want to get into, the launch and what they're going to kind of hopefully do, with this game thing. So there was a rumor a few weeks back that, I think it was actually last week, that they were going to go kind of in like phases that, there'd be like a phase 1 that would be very first party heavy. It'd be like their games, right? Nintendo games. And then you would get the other games. You would get in like the fall is when some of the third party stuff would come out. So Mario Kart 9 to me has got to be a launch day game. And that's, I don't know if that's asking a lot. I feel like when I say it, when I think about it, it's really not, but maybe taking a few steps back and looking at it, demanding a Mario Kart 9 at launch, maybe that is asking for a lot, but I just feel, you need a system seller. You need something that would be massive, and I don't know if there's any other, you think about the legendary franchises of the world, but you think about how good Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has always done on the Switch, right? And the fact that we haven't had a new Mario Kart game legitimately in such a freaking long time is they've milked 8 Deluxe, rightly so, because that thing sold like 50, 60 million units. So point being, that is a system seller, and that is also a thing that maybe like half of the owners of a Switch own, which is insane because the attachment rate is not even close to that high for any other game, right? So I feel like you're gonna want something like that. Now you could go, I think Kirby is another one that would be a little bit of a safer, because I'm trying to think like, okay, killer exclusive, right? Or just something to kind of go along with it. That's your Mario Kart. And then maybe you do like one or two others. So that's where like a Kirby, and I would honestly even say like a Fire Emblem type situation would happen. I would also want a tease at Animal Crossing. Now, I don't think Animal Crossing would come out, right now. I also don't think it would even come out in the fall. I think you just kind of put it out there that it would maybe come out, next year, right? Metroid Prime, that's a tough one because you just did that and you said 2025, but you didn't give a date. Could you show it literally back-to-back weeks? I feel like you could. I also feel like maybe they won't do something like that. So that one's kind of tough. If I were to predict, actually, I'll go against the grain and say, you know what, that'll be here too, and that'll get a release date for the fall. Okay, we'll just throw that out into the ether and see what happens. Now, okay, I mentioned Animal Crossing. Maybe do a teaser that comes out next year. Maybe you have a Kirby, a Fire Emblem, whether it's a remake Fire Emblem or whether it's a brand new game, and then you have your Mario Kart. Okay, well now you have to come in swinging like to go home, and you have to say, okay, well what comes out in the fall, because you have to have a good launch, but then also 3, 4, 5 months later, you got the first holiday, right? First holiday season of the Switch 2, Black Friday, all that jazz. You got to have your 3D Mario game. My hope in my dream, literally like above anything else, would be Galaxy 3, okay? I'm a huge Galaxy 1 and 2 are some of the greatest games ever created. I'll fight you on it, okay? So freaking good. I don't think we'll ever get a 3, okay? Because also, the way they've handled some of these past Mario games with that Superstars thing and all that jazz, let's just pretend we're never going to get a Galaxy 3, because I ultimately don't think we will. I also don't think we would get an Odyssey 2, so I'm just going to say, again, we'll kind of cop out here, we'll just say a new 3D Mario game. I feel like that has to happen, right? Like, I mean, you can show Pokemon. I'm sure Pokemon will be there. The one other thing I'd like to throw in, okay, which is not, so all of this so far has been first-party stuff, right? Like, Zelda's a tough one. I don't think you would do anything at least major, at least not yet for that. But then I feel like, okay, well, what do you got for third-party? Because, I mean, I'm recording this. Hopefully a video has already gone up yesterday. We talked about Final Fantasy IX, right? Like, that is weird timing. That I feel like is going to be there. The timing of the startup for Final Fantasy IX, I just feel like is too weird to not do anything. But then you think, okay, well, what third-party games really make a lot of sense? And I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, I don't know why, is actually Metal Gear. So Delta comes out in August. I feel like you could show that. I mean, in a perfect world, I kind of just want like a rundown. See, again, this is coming from somebody who's going to get the Switch 2, but is really still going to get it, same reason as the Switch 1, for the exclusives, not really for the third-party stuff. If I'm getting Metal Gear, if I'm getting, pick your game, Fable from Xbox, or if Starfield comes out, I'm thinking, okay, well, could Xbox be there? I honestly think they will. I don't know if Xbox would show like 1,000 different things, but maybe Xbox says like 2 or 3 games is coming to Switch 2. But you're thinking about that, and it's like it doesn't matter too much to me, but I do think it matters to a lot of people. In an ideal world, I kind of just want a chart. I want like a visual representation, and I want them to list like 30 games. Now, this can happen. This has happened like historically at like the E3s of the world, where there'll be graphs and it'll be like the logos for the game. So maybe they can do it like that. You don't have to have it in writing. We can just decipher the logos, but just have up there all of the, whether it's like Mafia, right, or Borderlands. Say Borderlands is coming out in September. That's a pretty good one. Like, I feel like that would work on the Switch 2. Is that where I would play it? No, it's actually not. But I mean, again, I'm speaking hopefully for more than just myself. I just feel you gotta hit hard with your games. That's where the Marios of the world come in. Maybe you tease an Animal Crossing, because these are huge games. These are games that are 20, 30, 40 million people that are going to get them. But okay, give us some third-party stuff, right? Tell us which of these third-party games are coming to the Switch 2. Not immediately, because I think it's going to be September, October, November, December by the time a lot of these start to hit. But list some of them off. So, I mean, again, I go to like some of the Xbox games of the world. I think a lot of the games that have jumped over to the Switch, like recently, like whether it was Xbox bringing it over or PlayStation, any game that made it to the Switch kind of late, like a Hogwarts Legacy, let's even say, I think a lot of those games will be enhanced, right, with the Switch 2. So I just kind of want a list. I don't really care what the list is. I just want a list. And I mean, I would like one surprise. I don't really care what that surprise is. I guess my go-to is always Persona. So if you show like Persona 6, but you know what? I mean, Final Fantasy 9 feels like the game now. In terms of, okay, here's the one last thing, big surprise, but it's not a Nintendo exclusive. They're using Nintendo to announce the game. It is coming to Switch 2, but it's also just like a reveal of a brand new game. Hopefully there's a couple of those. I'm honestly only banking on one. Like, if you want to do Persona 6, that blow my mind, or if you wanted to do Final Fantasy, whichever one you want, right? But if you could have like 2 or 3 of them just to say, hey, here's a couple like brand new reveals of these brand new games, right, that are coming out, and they might not even come to Switch day one, but they're going to use the Switch 2 event to show itself. So, I mean, those would kind of be like the main 2 right now that I could think of, but we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited. I think the potential is extremely high. And, it can go downhill rather fast, too, like starting with the price. If that alienates people right away, could be a interesting show after that. But no, I think the show is honestly going to rock, and I'm very excited for it. So I'll be covering it. I can't live stream it way too early in the day, but no, I will do videos as the day gets going, and we'll cover some of the bigger news stories that happens from this event. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.